Legendary Princess here with another update about my disability slash TMS injury, whatever you want to call it. I got notice today that I would be, my workers' compensation benefits are going to be terminated or have been. So that means I need to file for state disability in order to get some income. And I have a doctor's appointment with my workers' compensation doctor this week. Actually, tomorrow? What's today? Oh my gosh, Monday. So, Wednesday. And I don't know what he'll say. I mean, he'll probably keep me off work since there's still no treatment. I've been treating myself, so there's been some improvement, but lately the pain has been actually kicking back again. Just this morning was experiencing numbness and tingling, like really intense on my left hand, and then last night I was using my mouse hand and this was hurting a lot. And I'm not sure if it's because of the idea of looming, like of going back to that job looming over my heart. I don't know if I'm unconsciously stressed. Oh, well, okay, you know what? I think I am unconsciously stressed. I know I am. And even talking to my other counselor about that and knowing that, wow, I don't know if I actually know that I don't want to go back to that stressful environment and that it isn't healthy for me and that I don't have to put up with it anymore. So yes, I know that subconsciously and even consciously now, I don't want to go back to my old job the way it was or the way I felt there. And so I think that fear is also perhaps heightened as I draw nearer to the day of deciding, like, what was my doctor going to say? Okay, try to go back to work at least for some light duties or something like that. Which I will if that's what's needed, or if that's what I can do. I just think about the emotional stress. And because this is, I have to keep reminding myself, this is TMS. It is not because I'm using my hands a lot, but because it feels that way and because of the jobs that that I'm not able to do, or that because of the stress of the job causes the pain, which makes me not want to do that job, then I think about the other positions I might have, which are either going to be paid significantly less, or they are going to be very boring and not filled with purpose, which is what makes me want to do work, is when I feel like I'm making a difference. So I'm trying to think of other options for me to work, and I'm going to trust that God's going to reveal that in time as I keep getting treatment, as I keep uncovering all of the deep pain in my heart from my childhood. But I think this is, this morning, just experiencing a lot of pain in my neck for the past few days. I've been having dreams about just different things that cause me stress, like going back to my old job, or I can't even remember some of them, waking up, I'm still grieving my ended relationship recently. It's only been about a month and a half since we broke up, and so I think that's also simmering. And yesterday was a holiday, it was Easter, so I think yesterday I know that I was feeling emotions about being single again, or not having somebody significant in my life, and of course the loss of that relationship that was 2 years, and that's the longest relationship I've had as far as just dating and getting to know somebody or having them in my life, meeting my family and different things like that. So there's a lot of loss around that, and sadness, and just grief. So I consciously am aware that I'm processing all of that. It doesn't change the fact that my body's still trying to distract me from all those emotions by causing this pain and numbness. So I just kind of had to meditate. One of the techniques that my pain therapist taught me was to just sit with the pain, not to judge it, not to try to make it go away, just to be aware of it and to follow it and to see if it moves. And sure enough, as I was meditating, it did move. It did lessen as I even asked myself, why am I feeling this? Why is my body trying to distract me with this right now. And it was usually while I'm working on this workbook, dealing with some of my past trauma and working through that. So I know that's more evidence for this being TMS and not repetitive strain injury or tendonitis or all of the other structural issues that science tries to classify this chronic pain as. So we'll see how my doctor's appointment goes on Wednesday. I just got the report from the state doctor, the objective third-party doctor that I had seen back in January, and they had recommended acupuncture and physical therapy as options for treatment, but they had termed me permanent stationary, and they said that they would produce the percentages of how permanent my disability is based on a nerve test that my insurance company has still not approved. And has not been responding to my lawyers until recently. I'm pretty sure they responded by sending this paperwork at all, because my lawyers have requested a court date because they were not communicating as they legally should. But so I'm grateful that I have a good lawyer, and we'll see what happens with that. I have a court date in May, and I'm hoping this can all get resolved also for my employers. I feel bad for my old company. I want them to be able to release my old position so that they can fill somebody in that will do a great job and take over my previous responsibilities. And I think it's it's an unfortunate process to be waiting on the insurance this way, but I am still going to use the time to figure out this injury, this TMS, and all of the issues that are causing this pain. So I will keep you posted, but for now I'm going to go to the doctor, see if he keeps me off work. I'm going to scale back on the pain therapy because of the cost out of pocket, that now that I'm not going to get workers' compensation benefits, I'm going to have to figure the state disability out and my other income sources first. And we'll see as I continue with my counseling and exploring these deeper, just processing the trauma from my childhood. Hopefully I will be pain-free completely. One day you will see. So I'm going to choose to keep believing. I know God's going to do something with this, and I'm still in the desert, as we said, in our series at church, just talking about the Israelites going through the desert after crossing the Red Sea that God parted through Moses. They're wandering in the desert, and God's taking care of them with manna from heaven and with water coming out of the rocks as Moses struck them with the Lord's permission, or with his blessing or direction. And God was taking care of them, and he was with them in this cloud that was protecting them, so fire and pillar. And I do feel like that. I feel like God is protecting me. He's leading me. He's showing me each step of the way. I don't know. I can't see the promised land. I don't know where we're going. All I see is sand everywhere I look, and rocks and hills and windy dunes. I don't know what they really look like. Cracked earth. I feel the heat, but I also am tasting this manna. And is it the most sweet, delicious thing in the world? No, it's like kind of plain, but it sustains me, and it makes me feel like, okay, I can do this. I'm not parched. I have this water. When I need it, I get thirsty. It tells me I need to drink, and I can tell Moses, hey, or I can tell God directly, hey, God, I'm thirsty. I don't have to be complaining about it like the Israelites did. Where's the water? You don't believe in us, or you're going to abandon us. That's what the fear would say. God's going to abandon me. I'm always going to be single. I'm never going to have a healthy family like I want one day. Those are the lies that I feel like maybe the Israelites felt when they were like, God's going to abandon us. He brought us into the desert to die. That is the lie I hear in my heart when I see it, a lot of people at church getting engaged, or people that started dating before I did. Now they're getting married, or they just got married, and, I'm happy for them. And I love a lot of them. I know that, friends of mine, but there's still that longing that comes up like, ah. And yet my relationship did not work. And I'm back to worse than I was before. And I think the Israelites may have even said that at one point to God. Like, we were better off in Egypt. And maybe I would feel that way like 2 years ago before I even started dating. I was better off before. You know, I was younger. I had more hope. I was like more excited. I didn't know all of this traumatic stuff that's coming out of my heart and making me depressed and like pain and all that stuff. So I could look back in that same way and say, gosh, what are you doing, God? Like, why did you bring me out here? I could be afraid and say, you're going to leave me as a single for the rest of my life. I'm a broken, traumatized little girl at heart that I'm never going to be an adult. I'm never going to be mature enough to be a spiritual girlfriend, wife, mother, which I do see in my head being all of those things one day, especially the part about being a mom. I definitely feel that in my heart. And yet I still feel too broken to even think about taking care of a child. Even at, my old job, I had responsibilities to take care of kids and, in one way or the other, like, teaching and educating. And I think as I'm working through my own trauma, I just don't have the bandwidth. I helped babysit my friends' kids for a few hours, but it was during their nap time because I don't know if I can really commit to being around kids a lot. I don't know if it's just because my heart is aching, wanting my own family, and to see that beautiful, to see how wonderful and beautiful those children are and how my friend has done such a great job as a mom, and feeling that huge gap between where I'm at in my life and where they're at, where she's at and where her family is. And I know she's come through a lot, and everybody else that has a story that I don't see. Like, what do they say? That you only see their Facebook highlights on their page, but you don't realize the hard times that go on behind that. So I don't envy. It's not that I want her life. I just think there's those moments of temptation or sadness where I can be honest with God. Look, God, I'm grateful for these beautiful moments that I get to see someone else's happiness and joy, and to see your love through that, through the love of the children, through the laughter, through the way she gently mothers them, that I did not receive. And I think that's another longing I have, or that is hard for me to deal with right now, is just the seeing of the parenting that I didn't receive. I talked to one of my family members, a couple actually, that and just like realizing as an adult and looking back and seeing even my mom acknowledged how neglected I was. And of course I know she regrets it. And when I was a teenager, I didn't understand it, but I think she would take me out and try to buy me stuff. And I always resented it because I felt like it was buying me. It felt like it was buying my love, but I know maybe she just felt really guilty and didn't know how to acknowledge and take responsibility for her own part. But we did have a great talk yesterday that she had even apologized for or stated that she had been a coward to not leave my abusive father and her abusive husband at the time. And even though I don't blame her because I know she has her own trauma, it doesn't excuse the choices that she made. Just like my choices that I've made, the choices that I've made are not excusable if they hurt other people. I have to say, wow, I'm sorry for hurting you. I did hurt you. I did make choices that hurt you. And there's no minimizing that. And I think my mom had said some things that had made me feel like minimized, because she was saying like, oh yeah, everybody has something they go through, and as if that's normal and to be expected. But I had to say, like, that doesn't minimize anyone's pain, and we shouldn't. There's mixed things in life. There's good times. There's reasons why people get affected. They still make choices on how they behave, even if that's the choice they're equipped with as a child and how they process. Like, that's still the fallen human condition. We are, as the scriptures say, like, all have fallen short of the glory of God. We've all gone astray. And our best isn't good enough. That's the thing. And that's, I think, the thing that's been liberating me so much, even from my perfectionism or this compulsion to be perfect in order to feel loved or lovable. is that I feel like God is showing me, look, you're coming face to face with all the things that you are ashamed of about yourself. All the things you've been fighting so hard to hide from others because you're afraid that if they saw it, they wouldn't love you and they'll abandon you. And yet here I am, legendary princess, loving you as you walk through these very shamed places in your heart and these lonely places. And I still love you, and I'm still here, and you're admitting to yourself and to others and to me that you aren't perfect and that you tried so hard and it still wasn't enough. And yeah, that's true. And guess what? That's why I came and gave my son, and that's why I died for you through Jesus. Like, that's why he came, that's why he died, that's why he was raised from the dead. Because all of our lives, it's just as hard as we try to get back to God, we aren't strong enough. And we don't have to be. We can just be carried and held and brought home in the arms of our Lord and Prince. And it's something I kind of conceptualized in my mind, but I didn't get in my heart. And I'm starting to get it because I'm starting to feel God carry me. And the only way I could feel him carrying me is when I stop trying so hard to crawl myself and to just like let go. I know that's such a cliche, let go and let God, but just it was so counterintuitive for me to not do something, to just sit in my pain or to admit it's there, or to admit I needed help. Like that was like, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. There's like, it's anathema for me to need someone, because then they're going to think I'm weak and then they're going to abandon me. I really thought that. And I still think I operate that way unconsciously because of the way my wiring was as a kid. What the messages I interpreted and believed, the lies I believed. And that's what I'm learning to take responsibility for. I still chose to believe those things, even if I was just a kid. So what am I going to do about it? So I'm learning so much. I'm really grateful for this season. It has been tough, and it's still tough to face certain things, to go back into that trauma that I tried to like run away from by, even becoming a Christian. I was like, gosh, I want to put those days behind me. Like, I'm a new person now. I don't have to live that way anymore. And I had learned how to have boundaries on those unhealthy relationships, and I'm giving them up even more because of just how unhealthy they've been and how damaging their influence has been, specifically my dad. And I really hope that he gets the help he needs someday. But I'm realizing I'm not responsible for him. And that if he ever wants a relationship with me, he could have one. If he ever just called to apologize or really understand the damage that he's done and how his patterns of control and manipulation and condemnation and just criticism really damage the relationship, I'd be open to forgiving him in a heartbeat, just like my mom. As far as if she ever said, like, well, she kind of did. She had made cowardly decisions and had neglected me, and without making excuses for it, even though I know there are reasons, and I sympathize and I can have empathy and I can even have compassion on her for all the things that she was trying to do and not having enough energy for me. But the result was that I was still a neglected, abused child that was put in harm's way over and over again, and was not protected by her mother, and was actually, the treatment was silently condoned by her silence. So what was I left to believe, except that that it was my fault? That's how children think. So lots of lessons. I don't know if any of you watching have an abusive past or remember abusive moments. I know a lot of us don't like to face those moments. I don't think any of us like to face those moments. But I hope that by me being honest about mine in this forum will help you to be able to take a look at your own and allow yourself to feel the pain of that moment, that it was wrong and that you didn't deserve to be treated that way. In fact, that God did not want you to be treated that way. But because we are in a sinful, fallen world where we have free choice, people choose things that are not loving, things that are hurtful, and that have hurt us. But I think what I'm taking comfort in right now is the promise that God can restore what was lost. And all of the damage from the abuse done to me can be repaired by God, so that I can forgive my abusers. Doesn't mean I have to trust them or be in a relationship with them, but I can forgive them and love them, because hurt people, and God can give me back what they stole. What they broke, God can mend and heal and make even more beautiful. And as I think Joseph even said to his family, like, you intended this for harm, but God intended this for the good of many. And I definitely have related to Joseph. I think I've mentioned him in my blogs. But I hope that all helps as you're processing your own causes of this TMS, or if you have this chronic pain, anything like that. If you're discovering that you might have some repressed anger or deep emotions that are normal for humans to feel, because emotions make a great servant but a horrible master, as one of our pastors says, who's a marriage and family counselor, therapist, a licensed marriage family counselor, therapist, whatever it's called, MFT, marriage family therapist. There you go. Anyway, I hope that helps you, and I will be posting again as I know more about my process and as I process what's going on in this process. So until then, this is Legendary Princess. Good luck.